I really don't know how to unpack what has been going on this week. The world is in turmoil, it really is. But I tell you what I can unpack is my disdain for this Tory Party and what they've done to our beloved National Health Service. Now, last week, a friend of ours' son passed away. He's a type 1 diabetic, and I just can't imagine for the life of me what is going through the mother's mind at the moment. It's just turned her life upside down. Can you imagine it? Having to bury your own child. We're not supposed to outlive our children, are we? Now, I've got 6 kids. Oh, I can't... Don't bear thinking about it. It really don't. And she's handling this all on her own at the moment, and they already lost his father at the age of 40. You could partly blame the NHS for that. No, not the NHS. No. It was a misdiagnosis, that's what it was. They said he had a cyst, but it wasn't. It was cancer, a very aggressive cancer at that. Don't know what went wrong, I can't go into details on that. But it was a horrible, horrible time. You know, for them and everybody who went to visit, we went to visit him. And he just looked, well, not just gaunt, there's nothing to him. What do you say to somebody like that who's suffering like that? And they know what the outcome is. They know there's no, nothing positive is going to come from it. I find it immensely difficult, if I'm absolutely honest. I actually feel difficult just talking about this at the moment because, he was a friend of ours, he used to live on our road. And now his son has gone. Just last week. He was 28 years old is all. Type 1 diabetic. Anyway, before I get into it, don't forget to beat the old like button. Probably not after that. But, yeah. God. And also we're going live tonight at 8:30 if you want to join us there. But I plant this squarely at the Tories' feet. I really do. Over the last 13 years, they're systematically, I would say, destroyed the NHS. It's a fragment of what it was. And it wasn't perfect then. When they took over from Gordon Brown, it wasn't perfect, by no means. It had its problems, but you could at least argue that it did work. And now I was watching, Sky News this morning, with Trevor Phillips. I actually quite like Trevor Phillips. He's a cheeky son-so, yeah, he is. But he's clearly a Tory. And I was watching him interview Wes Streeton, the Shadow Health Secretary. It was constant interruption to the point of arrogance. Whereas when he was interviewing Mark Harper, oh my giddy aunt, this is like a free ride it was. Just get on with it. Say whatever you want to do. And also, Wes Streeton asked him to, I said, why don't you... Well, no, actually, Trevor Phillips said he'll ask Mark Harper about the conspiracy theories that Mark Harper keeps peddling. It's like he's trolling, X, was the former Twitter, to see what the next conspiracy theory is. And that was Wes Streeton's allegation, and he's 100% right. Mark Harper keeps peddling conspiracy theories. But did Trevor Phillips of Sky News hold him to account? No. His questioning got a little bit more forceful towards the end, but it was clearly preferential treatment. So there's people like our friend's son who died, and then those who are left behind trying to deal with it, who can't even, they can't bury him. They can't afford to bury him. So now, actually, to be fair, they just had a GoFundMe within days. They've actually got virtually enough money. They need 4,800 or something so they could bury the poor chap. I was thinking of the lad because he was when we left the UK, he was a mere boy, and a young man, and now he was 28 years old. He passed. That's no age. Now, why I say that he was failed by the Tory Party, and I put it squarely at their feet, was because he needed support. Now, people with type 1 diabetes can manage it, and they do what they need, because, they have the whereabouts to do it, and obviously the gumption to do it. But I don't think he was managing his type 1 diabetes very well, and he needed support. And the parent, the mother, was asking for help again and again and again, but it wasn't forthcoming. And when it was, it's always too late. The situation had passed. Until finally, it became finite. And he passed away. He's waiting to be buried now. It was only last week. Well, their missus and that, Caroline, she's distraught about it, She used to walk to school together and all that sort of stuff, take the kids to school. Yes, walk. But yesterday I was saying that the Tory Party traitors, I think they're murderers. Inadvertent murderers. Manslaughter, if you like. Because it isn't just my friend's son. There's many more people who either haven't been treated in good time, especially with cancers and what have you. Scam results. In some cases, it's taken 2.5 years to get an appointment. And then you've got to wait weeks and weeks to get your actual results. Now, I did a little quick clip of video last week because I had a scan. I walked away with my results and a diagnosis. Well, of the actual scan itself. It says it's all clear. That's fine. Go away. And I was early for my appointment, but I can't remember how much about it. I was actually out of the building with my results before my actual appointment was due, because I was quite early, but it was done straight away. And it's a busy hospital. They can do it. They can do it in France. Why can't we do it in the UK? Why this is important? We're talking about prevention. If, for instance, this young lad, just passed, young man, I should say young lad, whose father passed a few years back now, and of cancer, if he was diagnosed quickly and correctly at the time, he might have had a bit more time to say goodbye to people. But we were talking about weeks, I don't understand how he wouldn't know. He's a skinny old bugger as well, me, fat bugger. No, he's skinny as a rake. I said, what a great blooming lump. And he was very aggressive, and it took him within the weeks. So sad. The whole family, you imagine what happens in the family if something like that happens, it's just like shock. How does the partner manage? How do they cope with it all and deal with all the aftermath of it? They didn't have no support. They've got to pretty much do it all on their own. It's tough. Incredibly tough. We did what we could, because they literally lived just over the road from us. In Salhouse in Norfolk. And it's hard to see. And now we learn this, that she's lost her son. And then we hear these flippin' Tories being interviewed, and you could say Tory reporters, or newsreaders, like Trevor Phillips on Sky, and they're clearly not addressing this, already addressing the situation, or asking the right questions, I so say, or not allowing the person to actually answer the questions. To be fair to West Streeton, he was quite forthright. He criticised Mark Harper for his conspiracy theories. He referred to the Tory Party, especially the cabinet, as cranks and conspiracy theorists. How can you argue with that? Honestly. You see, here in France, like I say, it's about prevention. In the UK, it's mitigation if you get caught in time. If. Now this young chap, he needed help, he needed support, and he didn't get it, and now he's dead. There's so many things to unpack here around the NHS. And it's not the NHS. It's not. Now, a lot of people hate Tony Blair and what have you, but under Tony Blair, a lot of money was invested in the NHS. Okay, we had the PFI hospitals, which to me was a major mistake. We should be investing in an infrastructure so it becomes an asset to the country. Not like what these flipping Tories have been doing, was that they hand over £500 million to Tartars so they can change the way, make it all environmental, how they smelt the Smelt, it'd melt the iron and stuff in the forges. Which is a great idea, it's a great idea. But we should be taking a bit of their company. We did it before. RBS, for instance. Hand load of money, save the bank, and then we owned a chunk of it, and it's worth more now than what we paid for. We should be doing that with Tata. Look at British Volt. Okay, it failed. They've gone to an Australian company who's no investigation and what have you because of corruption. But yeah, British Volt, for instance, that so-called 100-odd million. We should be taking a chunk of the company, not just handing money over. It's the same with Nissan and all them lot, Don't hand money over. We want something back, not just about the jobs for the people, but we must hold on to the asset. So we always retain the investment. It's really important. Some would argue that'd be Tory thinking. But that is just practical. The idea of nationalisation, I think that's actually something that West Street was saying. I think it was West Street. Anyway, the idea of no, it wasn't. It was somebody else. Oh, I know it was. It was the leader of the Unite Union. Yeah, she was saying this. That the United Kingdom only seems to believe in nationalisation when it's nationalisation in other countries' infrastructure, such as EDF in France. Here in France, we've got lower electricity costs here because you lot are paying for it in the UK. You keep buying our electric at high inflated rates. I shouldn't laugh because it's just dire. It's really dire. It's just mismanagement on every single level. Oh dear. But who are the people who suffer? It's ordinary folk. Always. It really is. It's not the rich buggers, like those with non-dom status and what have you, which Labour seems to throw about as though it's going to be this magic money tree. Yeah, to pay for all this stuff. West Streeton said that. That's how he's going to pay for the reforms of the NHS. Oh, it's non-dom. Because we're going to revoke non-dom status. And non-dom status, I'll get this right in my head now. Well, non-doms, like Shatamurti, which is the Prime Minister's wife, we don't know if she's actually given it up. No, we've got no evidence of that. They might have said it, but don't mean to say they've done it. And in the day, they're still investing in places like, California, for instance, in a school there, £3 million, hand over that school, but nothing to our schools in the UK. These people are extremely wealthy people, worth around £1 billion as a family. God knows what other assets they've got. So, yeah, the green card, do we know? Where's the evidence that they've given it up? I'll tell you what's going to happen, the likelihood in my mind, that when Richie Sunak is voted out, it won't be long before they'll set themselves up in California. They'll all be moved over there. See, people like that, with the amount of money they've got, it don't matter where they are. They've got properties all over the flipping place. They'll just change their tax status or where they're tax resident, wherever they can make the most money. I just saw a massive dragonfly come through, just literally under the camera. That was really distracting. It wasn't that big, it's huge. Well, welcome to France. Yeah, so that's what I reckon. They'll up sticks and end up in California or something like that, you see. Buying their way into California, because because they're rich buggers, you see, whereas us lot, before Brexit was, at least you could come to the EU, couldn't you? And now it's like you've been scuppered there as well. You only got one country to go to, really. I suppose that is a group of countries, the United Kingdom, or disunited Kingdom, for now. How long that'll be a United Kingdom, I don't know. First island, I reckon, then maybe Scotland be gone. Maybe that, that'd be best for those countries. That's what I reckon, anyway. But anyway, going back to non-dom status, because non-doms apparently they contribute around 8 billion actually into the economy. Oh, that sounds great, doesn't it? But you can't deny the fact that they actually save themselves by being with their non-dom status around 10.9 billion. These are estimates. But they're out there if you want to do your own searches. They're 10.9 billion. So we could claw that back. But people like, Richie Sunak and his missus and that, will they want to pay the additional taxes? Because I think they'd have to pay an extra 3 million a year or something in taxes. Would they want to do that? Probably not. They're probably out sticks. It's cheap to do so, isn't it? So that's my feeling. And it'll be the same with many of these other rich buggers as well. I'm not saying that's right and I'm trying to excuse them, but I can imagine many of them will up sticks. Not everyone, obviously, but many of them will. So I think that 10.9 billion that could be spread across the economy could be half that. Still a lot of money, obviously. And it needs to be done because it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's what you see, this is a trust issue for me, in that we've already had a massive trust problem with the Tories, and although, don't get me wrong, I probably will be voting Labour, I still have got a trust issue there with them, because I think some of the stuff they've been saying isn't necessarily 100% accurate. Now, I know somebody on here who's a Labour member, probably some others as well, and you could call me a swing voter, I suppose, but I'd never vote Tory. No, I think I've done once in my lifetime, but I would never, there's a long, long time ago as well, but I was ignorant towards politics back then. But, see, for me, naturally, I'd vote Green, but it'd be pointless, because where I am in Broadland, it'd be a wasted vote. You're effectively handing a vote over to the Tories. So we have to get the Tories out, but then I worry that Labour will have too much power. I've said that before, haven't I? But I just don't. I haven't got a lot of confidence at the moment. I feel really kind of. Like I said yesterday's video. I think it was yesterday's video, day before. I was talking about despair. No, day before. I feel a bit of despair towards all, and it's towards the situation. I don't really know what the answer is. Normally I can. I've got a fairly good idea of what needs to be done. Rejoin the EU, well, that's for the birds. Closer alignment, well, still not going to solve the issues. Although I have to admit, after what I was reading yesterday, I was quite hopeful regarding the rules of origin. The car industry might get a bit of respite on that for another year. Regarding rules of origin, so the 10% tariffs on exports. So that'll be good for Germany, but also the United Kingdom, because the bulk of these vehicles the cost is in the battery, which generally is foreign. So yeah, there's so much to unpack, and I feel I want to talk about it all, but I can't really, because the video will be ridiculously too long. It's too long now. And on that note, I'm going to say ta-ta, and thank you for watching. And I'm going live tonight, like I said, at 8:30, and yeah, it's a Sunday, by the way. It's 9:30 my time here in France, but yeah, 8:30. So if you want to join Sarah, you're more than welcome, and maybe we can have a chat and talk about stuff. Yeah, so much to talk about, it's just unreal. But anyway, what do you think? Please leave it in the comments down below, because I do read the comments, but you probably already know. And have you lost... Oh, there's a difficult question. I should really ask this question, really. Have you lost somebody? And do you blame the Tory Party for this? Because I know I do. They destroyed it. Such a wonderful institution has been ruined. Bugger. Ta-ta.